Hey everybody. Yesterday I finished installing the engine, and pretty soon I'm going to get on with putting on the starter. I had the starter serviced over at a place here in Victoria called Brian Roberts, and they said good things about the condition of the starter, which is pretty sweet. They asked me if the rest of the Rambler was in good shape as the starter and the generator, and I said, well, kinda not really. But anyways, yeah. They fixed up a small number of things on there. But anyways, here it is. Here is the 195.6 in the Rambler. Finally, after all this time. You know? Rambler is definitely a little bit lower than it used to be. That's for sure. It's gonna look a lot different when the grill's all on and all that kind of stuff. When the hood's back on, took off the hood. Really destroyed my my materials that I had in the tarp stand, the painting tent stand that I made. It's really getting its ass kicked, with all this like moving around and myself, like my feet just kind of like bashing on it from trying to get work done and stuff like that. I'm gonna get all new bolts when I put the grill back on, because this is all just, it's just junk, like I had to drill that out. Look how rusty that is. Taking off these bolts and stuff like that, it's just like down in here, it's just with a wrench and also a socket, just pulling on the socket, holding the other side with the wrench. I mean, this super loud screeching noise. It's so rusted. But anyways, installing the engine into the engine compartment, installing it, connecting it to the transmission, it was a real difficult thing. Like I was like right in here, like grabbing onto the engine and sort of like rustling it around, trying to get it in there. I don't know what I did. If it was, me lifting it up a little bit and tilting it in or down, or I don't know. But eventually it went in there. The transmission input shaft went into the end of the crankshaft finally. And yeah, I hope the pilot bushing is still where it's supposed to be. Well, hope it didn't get like pushed in farther than it should be. I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to tell what's really going on in there, right? When you can't see what's going on inside, the friction disc anymore, because there's just no way to do it. There's also not even any way to really put your finger in there and just sort of feel the tip of the input shaft against the friction disc opening. You're like, okay, should it go up a little bit or down a little bit? It's kind of hard when you can't even do that anymore. Even when you can feel that the transmission input shaft should go up a little bit so that it can go in to the friction disc hole and then pass into the end of the crankshaft. When you come back out here and like you're like raising it up a little bit, and then you're like, okay, should I turn the fucking engine leveler, and is that going to help me? When you try it and then nothing works, and then you're sort of like concerned about the weight of the engine sort of bearing on the transmission input shaft in there. Like, yeah, I was out here and I was handling the hoist, and I had the handle over here, and I was gently releasing, or trying to gently release and lower it, and I kind of got distracted. And also, like, I had my other hand on it, so if I wasn't using my right hand, I was using my left hand, and I got mixed up on the direction of, how it's operated. And I was talking to my neighbor over the fence there at the same time while I was focusing and just kind of answering him. And I made a mistake, and I dropped it and went boom, and like the engine and the transmission bell house just sort of like bouncing, and I said, shit, And that's when he, kind of said, okay, all right, good luck. And he just kind of took off because I guess he kind of wanted to give me a chance to focus on what I was doing. But today I'm going to put the hood back on, put the starter on, maybe put on the other things. But I still got problems. I still think that there's going to be a leak right there behind the harmonic balancer and this brown seal in the timing cover. I'm pretty sure I talked about that, about how the timing cover backing wasn't supposed to be tightened down until the harmonic balancer was partially installed. But yeah, we'll see how bad it is. I got to take off the oil pump and pack it with Vaseline so that it like sucks in the oil, because it doesn't prime on its own. I also got to put the fuel pump there. I just dropped one of the nuts. I'll find it. And yeah, I just like to give one more mention to Falcon Clutch. Those guys did me a good job on my clutch. They also gave me a free clutch alignment tool, and they also invited me over to their house for waffles, which is pretty cool, because I was talking to Mark and I was like, oh yeah, down in New York, is there a Waffle House? I love Waffle House. And he said, no, there's no Waffle House down here, but if you're ever in the area, you have a standing invitation to come by and have some waffles. So I think I will. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, Waffle House is pretty good. I really liked it. When I was traveling around Georgia a long time ago, a couple years ago, I was sleeping in a cemetery, and I woke up and I went across the street to the Waffle House restaurant and had breakfast. It was pretty nice. And then after that, I went to the Fried Green Tomatoes Cafe over in Juliet from the movie Fried Green Tomatoes. It was beautiful. If you love the movie, you should try and go there. It's definitely a wonderful life experience. Okay, 1958 AMC Rambler Super Part 32, I think. All right, thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.